Hello and welcome to the Experiencing Love podcast. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm trying out something a little bit different. If you've listened to the past few days, you might be able to tell that I've been feeling a little low energy. I'm thankful that I still showed up for myself and that I sat down and recorded those episodes, and I feel like it's important for me to highlight the importance of self-care and self-love and taking care of yourself. In my past, it used to feel almost difficult to choose to take care of myself. I always felt like I had something to do, something to prove. I felt like I always had to be performing. I always had to be producing. I always had to be doing something in order to feel like I had worth. That's where I felt my self-worth come from. And it took me a long time to take a step back from that perspective and to question it and to see if that was really true. Was I really only valuable when I was creating or producing results? Or am I just of value being who I am, being a person? I've learned that I have value no matter what, and that I don't need to perform. I don't need to produce. I don't need to create. I don't need to overwork myself in order to prove that. But that mindset also takes a level of inner confidence, this inner belief that I am of worth, I am of value. While coming up with this belief of mine, I was met with a lot of self-doubt. For a long time, I really doubted myself. It even comes up to this day. It could be easy to doubt when you haven't defined for yourself that you're of value in another area of your life. It could be easy to doubt that value and say, but I still haven't done X. So until I do that, of course I'm not of value. Of course I'm not worth it. Of course I have to keep working hard. Of course I can't slow down. That mindset of mine led to repeated cases of burnout. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced burnout. Chances are you have, and you know that it's not a great experience. It is not fun. In my case, I would wake up and not want to get out of bed. Well, actually, first, that's assuming that I even want to wake up. Sometimes it just results in me oversleeping for days in a row. I oversleep, and then when I do wake up, I don't want to get out of bed. I'll look at my phone. I'll maybe read a book. I'll do whatever I have to do to just not start my day. At some point, what ends up happening is I have to use the bathroom, and pretty much that's how the day starts. Because once I'm up out of bed, that's when I could get things rolling. But on those days, especially when I'm feeling burnt out, there's not much that happens. I might just continue spending time on my phone or reading, just in a different place in my house. Instead of being in bed, I might do it on the couch. Or maybe I might get in my car, drive to a park, and just do that there. Which of all the options, I think that's one of the better ones. But I digress. That feeling of burnout directly contradicts the feelings of I need to produce. Because in burnout, you still have the feelings of I need to produce without any of the energy or motivation to do so. In my case, that ended up resulting in a lot of shame. Like I felt ashamed that I wasn't creating more. I felt guilty, like I should be doing more. So I had a lot of that language around it too. I had a lot of shoulds. I had a lot of can'ts and won'ts. Like I can't stop and I won't take care of myself. I won't take a break. I should be working harder. And then what ends up happening is I spend a few days burnt out, and then the discomfort of not doing anything for that long at a time is enough to give me this type of push motivation. And it gets me to get right back into work, and that lasts another couple weeks until the burnout comes back. And it just happens again and again and again. So I say all that in hopes that you can relate and that you could see yourself a little bit in what I'm describing. I learned at the tail end of last year how important it is to really take care of myself. I had this experience, this moment, when I just got off from nearly a week of participating at this event. And it was a high energy event. I was on my feet for 12, 14, 16 hours a day, and I was loving it. I was on fire. I wish I could go back. And the event finished, and I still had that momentum with me, and I kept it going. The day after the event, I might have given my body a rest, but my mind was still going. I sat down at my computer. I was like, I'm not going to go exercise or do anything crazy today. Today will be my rest day. And I sat at my computer and I just did work. I had a bunch of ideas, so I started brainstorming them. I started creating notes. I started taking action on those ideas. And then maybe the second day, I said, okay, today I'm going to slow my brain down a little bit, but I'm going to go super hard on exercising. So because I took the break day before, that second day, I was up on my feet. I believe I went rock climbing. I was running around, going on walks, doing all these errands, not really using as much of my mind as the day before, but I wasn't giving it a rest. And then the following days after that, I was like, oh yeah, I've already rested. So back to work, back to my normal grind. I'm still feeling good. At that time, I was still in that peak state. I had that momentum going. And I was like, oh, I'm going to ride this out as long as possible. Well, fast forward about 3 or 4 days. I believe it's Friday night at this point. I'm in my room and I start getting really anxious. And I don't know where this anxiety is coming from, but it's just starting as a thought, then a second thought, then a third thought, and they're like lingering. And, over this past week and over the past year, I've learned a lot of different tools that work for me in order to, interrupt that pattern and do something different. So I started doing those different tools, different exercises, and then the thoughts weren't going away. And then I started getting even more anxious because I started saying, wait, all the tools that I had, they're not working. Like, why isn't this tool working? I'm getting up, I'm moving around, making sure that I'm in a peak state. I have high energy right now. I'm bouncing around. I'm doing whatever. I'm listening to music. I'm journaling. What's going on? Why am I freaking out? And it was that train of thought that made it worse. And it got all the way up into the point that over the course of 2 to 3 hours, it turned into a full-blown panic attack. A full panic attack had me in the shower, uncontrollably crying. I get out of the shower. I go get a glass of water to drink, start uncontrollably crying again. It's just on and off like a light switch. And at this point, I'm terrified because I've never had this type of reaction before. I've never had this type of attack. And I'm so grateful for this, that even in that state of mind, there's this little voice in my head that said, don't do this alone. Go get help. Get help from someone. Call someone. And right when I had that notion, I texted a dear friend of mine. And I just said, hey, I'm freaking out. Can I call you? And it turned out to be one of the most crucial 2-hour phone calls that I've ever had in my life. Because one of the things that we discussed in that phone call was rest. And very simply, I got asked, did you rest? After this event, did you take a moment to rest? Did you take care of yourself? And as soon as I started to make up an answer and start saying it, we both just kind of looked at each other and said, no, not really. Because I wouldn't be feeling this way if I rested. And it became this very eye-opening experience of how important it is for me to rest my body, my mind, and my soul all together all at once. Not on separate days, but all together. When I experienced that panic attack and I was in my bed crying, wondering, how did I get here? What do I do? How do I get up and move forward? How do I help people when I can't even help myself? So I learned 2 very important lessons that day. Is you can't help someone and you can't give to someone if you don't give to yourself first. And the second is you don't have to do it alone. There are people out there that so desperately want to be there for you as long as you take the first step to ask for help. One of the things I also had to learn early on was that despite how badly I wish I was, I am not a mind reader. And that's a joke. I actually don't wish to mind read anyone. That sounds absolutely, I'll call it fun. As much as it may be useful to be able to mind read in certain situations, I don't have that ability. And so there are people in my life that may need help, but they're also the same people that put on a brave face and they act strong and they act independent and they isolate themselves so that there's less chances for me to see that they need help. And because they don't ask for help, they don't get help. They're left in this burnout pattern just like I was. And just like me back then, I didn't know how to ask for help. And since I didn't know how to ask for help, I didn't get any help. Because just like how I'm not a mind reader, neither is anyone else. There's people who are very skilled at maybe reading patterns, and if they know their patterns well enough, they can see when someone needs help. But that's a rare gift, a rare skill that needs to be cultivated. Not everyone has that type of person in their life. So I learned how important it is to acknowledge when I need to take a break, when I need to take rest, and to also acknowledge that if there's ever any time that my mind or my body is asking me to reach out to someone for help, or just to reach out to someone to chat, that there's a good reason for it. I have the capability to really lock in and focus and get the work done. I can do it solo. But just because I can doesn't mean I have to. Just because I could doesn't mean I should. When I started taking care of myself, I found this level of inner confidence that everything would be okay. No matter what challenge comes my way, I will be okay. Because I know that if it's something that truly could overwhelm me, I could just take an extra 15, 20, 30-minute break. Maybe it's so overwhelming I need to take a whole day to really think on it and to really rest. And I also know that I have so many people that want to help, are able to help, and will be there as soon as I ask. There are people who want to help and are waiting for you to ask. Think about it. When you're able to help someone else and truly help from a place of goodness in your heart, does that make you feel worse or better about yourself? It makes you feel better. And if it makes you feel better, why not give that gift to someone else? Give the gift of uplifting them by being of service to you. On this journey of personal growth, I've learned a lot of important lessons. Today I shared just 2 of many. The doubt may still creep in every once in a while, but I know that I have all that I need within me now, and that I have the people that I need in my life at this current stage. I know that the people in my life now may not be here forever, but that when I reach the next level, I will have exactly who I need with me then. At each level, at each step of our journeys, we are given the exact people that we are meant to be given. At times, some of those people could be really challenging, and that means they're just a lesson to learn from. Asking yourself, what can I learn from this person? Can actually, 1, make the situation better faster, or could mean that that person is able to leave your life sooner. And on the same note, if someone truly incredible is in your life, appreciating them for the gift that they are and learning from them too, that's what you get to do. And just know that once you learn everything that you're meant to learn at a given level, that's when you level up. That's when you reach the next level. Or should I say, that's when the opening for the next level appears. And if you're willing to, you can take that plunge into the next step, into that next level. And know that at that next level, there's a new set of challenges and a new set of gifts. And trust me, at each new level, those challenges and gifts become greater and greater. But that's just what life's about. That's growth. Because by the time that you reach an older age, and in my case, I want to be a father. It's one of the only things that has grounded me through my rock bottom up until today and every single day. And I know that the greater the challenges that I face now, the greater the lessons and the legacy that I get to bestow onto my children. My children will see a strong man who's overcome some of life's hardest moments. I do what I do now to be an example for those closest to me in my life. I choose the path that I choose now because I want to give to those around me. I want people to look at me and say, well, Philip showed us that it's possible. So maybe I should find my impossible and do it too. Anyone in my life, anyone that's in my circle, just know that I want them to grow. I'm on the path of growth. I'm on the path of bettering myself. I look for people that are also on the path of growth and bettering themselves. I invite people to join me on this path. And if someone is willing to stay at the level that they are, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just know that when I reach the next level, they might not be there with me. There may be a different set of people in my life. I guess that last bit was a bit of a tangent away from the earlier message, but like with anything, it has its own value. It's a part of self-growth, self-care, self-love. With the start of this new year, I'm looking at all areas of my life, doing an audit in every area, seeing what am I keeping from last year and what am I leaving behind and replacing with something new. So this year, I'm going to continue taking care of myself, and I'm going to continue caring for the people around me. I'm going to continue asking for help where I need it, and I'm going to continue offering help where I can. That's the beauty of growth, and I'm here to love and grow every single day. I thank you so much for listening today. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that you've taken the steps towards your own growth. I believe that you being here is a step in that direction. I hope you learned something today. And I hope that if you gain something from this, if you truly believe in something that I've said today, share this with someone in your life that could use it or that needs it. Or share this with someone you think would enjoy hearing these words. My goal is just to spread love. And so however that happens, I'm grateful for it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.